Now we're going to talk about Guardians, where me and you argued. And I realized, like, I kept thinking about, I was like, this dude, like, I said something, and then you just never said anything again. I don't know if you were asleep or you went to go do something, but you just disappeared.
I definitely went to go do something and then got like drowned in DMs.
But I understand where you're coming from. But I disagree. Essentially, me and him was arguing over the fact that this game, you cannot play as the other Guardians. Now, as you can imagine, like I do all the time on Twitter, I had discussions with a lot of people online about it who, you know, like you, were feeling the same way. And I used the same example, and there were tons of people actually using the same example of, it's like having the Fantastic Four and only playing as Mr. Fantastic, because it is, no matter how much you want to make it seem like it's not. It's like making a Fantastic Four game and going, you can only play as Mr. Fantastic. And I'm like, bro, the Human Torch is right there. Let me fly. Please. That's how it feels. Because it's like, the game looks okay. I don't think it looks like exceptional. Honestly, I don't have high hopes for it, and I think it's going to fail. I don't think it's not fail, but I don't think it's going to do great. Fail is a bit of an extreme. I don't think it's going to do great. I think it'll be an okay game. But I get it. The comics tend to focus on Star-Lord. But this isn't a comic. It's a video game. Video games are meant to be fun to play, not just watch and, you know, and just consume the story. You want the combat to be fun. And it made me think of Final Fantasy VII, where the main character is Cloud, the remake. The main character is Cloud. You play as Cloud. When you're not fighting, you're Cloud. There's some sections of the game where they have you take control of like Aerith or Tifa or Barrett, but those are few and far in between. You play as Cloud. But in combat, specifically in combat, they give you the option to give them directions like you can in this Guardians game, but you can also then take control of that character and also give Cloud and all the other characters instructions as well. And I felt like this game would have been dope if you could do that, because it feels weird to see Gamora slicing stuff up with her sword and not be able to take control of her and have fun slicing stuff up with her sword. Same with Groot and him literally being a giant tree. I want to play as a tree. That sounds fun. And same with Rocket and his ridiculous weapons. It feels weird to have these super interesting and funny, unique characters with unique play sets, but you can only tell them what to do. You can't play as them. It's like having the Justice League game and you're only Batman and you're telling everyone else what to do. Batman's great, but it'd be cool to be the Flash sometimes. It'd be cool to be Wonder Woman sometimes. It'd be cool to be Green Lantern sometimes. You know what I mean, bro? You've been quiet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Breath of the Wild, How to Buy a House. I'm sorry. I don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from, and I agree that it would be cool, but I don't think it's necessary. It's not like
I do, bro, and I don't think
it's necessary.
I think most people would agree. Not to say that invalidates your opinion at all, but I think that this is a game, and games are meant to be sold. So, and a lot of people buy them so that it can make its money back. And I feel like most people will, and most people have said like, why can't we play as all of them? And I think the easy answer is you may like the game, but it hasn't been doing the best, and that's the Avengers game. And maybe they saw that the Avengers game wasn't doing the best. And
I actually said this. This is one of the things I told you. I was like, it would be too similar to the Avengers game if you could play as all of them.
And assumed, well, one, that's ridiculous. Why would you make a game about a team and not be able to play as the team? Anyway, like, it doesn't matter if it's similar to an Avengers game. If that's like saying if Square Enix, for whatever reason, also made an Avengers game, and because they're too similar to Avengers, you can't play as all of them. Like, I feel like this game could have stuck with it is a single player game. Only one person can play it, but you can still switch between the characters. I feel like the fear is that it would be like the Avengers game, because it's a not necessarily a multiplayer, but multi-character game. But the reason the Avengers game isn't doing the best is because, and I haven't played it, I can only say from what I've heard, people say that the characters feel very, very similar to play because they're all meant to fit in a world where you can literally, it's like a USB-C port. They're all meant to be able to fit into that port. You know what I mean? Like, every character is meant to be able to fit into this world, and no matter what character you choose, they will work on this map and be able to fight. And
Yeah, I don't understand the argument that they all
they
feel the
plan on
same.
and they plan on continuing to add characters, and they'll try to make them as unique as they can, of course, but they still in some sense have to play similar because they all have to fit in the same world, and you have to be able to go back and do certain missions with different characters. And because of that, the gameplay isn't as unique as people would like it to be. And also because it's a multiplayer game, there are certain things they have to do to make it work as a multiplayer game that people don't find that people don't really find fun. And that has to do with the fact that it's multiplayer. They have to keep adding characters. But with Guardians Galaxy, it could have been single player. You don't have to add characters. You just have to focus on these. Is it 4 or 5?
It's 5, but it really depends on
I
the.
think in the screen, Rocket and Groot are separate. So I think yes, technically 5. So in most games with Rocket and Groot, they usually are just one character, with just Rocket on Groot's shoulder. But yeah, I feel like if they focus only on these 5 characters, then it could have been fine as a single player. You switch between these 5 characters, but Star-Lord is the main character, and he's the one making the decisions.
I just had the best idea for a video
game. I understand why you don't think it's a big deal, but it's a video game about a team, and not being able to play as all of the team members is a little odd.
I still don't think it's necessary personally, but
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. I had a perfect idea for though that you just gave me when you were sitting here talking about this. Did you ever play Biomutant?
I mean, I talked about it a couple episodes ago about how it looked interesting. No, I haven't played it though.
Okay, it's been getting really bad reviews. Personally, I still want to play it because I haven't played it. It looks good.
Yeah, but I might just wait for them, to spruce it up a bit.
I don't think they're going to, honestly. I don't think they're going to. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I don't think they're going to, from the way that the developers have been talking about it.
Yeah, if that's the case, I'm probably just never gonna play it.
But a Rocket Raccoon game, but Biomutant-esque. That would be cool to me. It's just a Rocket Raccoon game.
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool. That would actually be cool.
Because you have the weapon customization and all that stuff, and yeah, I would really like that actually. Just a Rocket Raccoon game. I'd pay a lot of money for that. That'd be cool. But yeah, I still don't think it's necessary. I mean, I definitely understand the desire to, and yeah, I would like to play as Rocket or Gamora. I don't really want to play as a walking tree though. I don't understand that. But I still don't think it's necessary. It'd be cool if they surprised everybody though, and they were like, "Here's the rest of the Guardians to play as."
Yeah, and I feel like they could.
I mean, they have costumes for all the other Guardians too. They have alternate costumes that they showed off.
I mean, costumes isn't playing as a character.
No, I know that, but I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Also, actually, speaking of costumes, I'm not the biggest fan of most of their designs. I think they look okay.
I've got to agree with you on that. If we can agree on one thing, it's that.
I think for me, I feel like they add too much detail, and a lot of those details are unnecessary. Like on Star-Lord's jacket, there's this weird strip of leather over top of the sleeve. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I actually like Star-Lord's design. I like Star-Lord's design, and I like Drax's design.
I like Drax the most. I think their designs are too busy, and Drax is the least busy, and that's why I like it. I feel like it's just layers upon layers of stuff that I feel like doesn't need to be there.
I feel like Gamora's
is the most
been the easiest to design.
I feel like Gamora's is also very simple, but those spiky shoulder pads bother me.
They really could. Did you ever read any of Gamora's solo comics or any of the recent Guardians of the Galaxy comics?
No, but I know how her design looks.
Yeah, she's a very simple design in the comics. They really could have just lifted that. I don't know why they did.
I've always, because I know how she looks like in the comics, I wanted to see more white in her costume.
Yeah,
because she usually wears tons of white.
I also don't understand the black eyeliner going down her whole, giving her raccoon eyes. I don't get that.
Yeah, isn't it usually orange?
It's yellow, actually.
Yellow?
It's not that big either.
Yeah, it's usually yellow eyeshadow.
It is not supposed to be like that, covering that much of her face. And then they gave Rocket like a little beard. I don't know.
Yeah, that
The designs don't
little
put
beard
me
didn't
off of
bother
the
me.
game, but
Little beard didn't bother me that much, honestly.
a little beard bothered me because I'm like, what is the point? And he braided it. And why? I don't understand. I don't know why he braided the beard. The designs don't put me off, but like that's like if I had to complain, those would be the biggest complaints I have are the designs because why?
Yeah,
Also, the gameplay looks
it looks
interesting. They just haven't showed. I think the gameplay could work. They just haven't showed
it
any
looks a little stiff.
actual enemies. They showed literal
They
blobs.
showed, yeah, I was say literally,
That's all they showed off.
they literally showed gelatin and like a cat.
Yeah. So I'm like, I think the gameplay could work. I'm reserving judgment on the gameplay because I feel like we haven't seen actual gameplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.